Good morning to you. Mark Sutton with HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Pro and HD video blog for September 5th. Happy Labor Day to you, 2016. Here is a visible satellite image of Hermine off the northeast coast in the mid-Atlantic states. A couple of vorticity areas in here, generally the center of circulation. Doesn't really have an eye. You can see a big dry slot in here. It looks much like an extratropical storm, or they're calling it post-tropical. Those are all meteorological terms that have to do with the thermal profile, the pressure fields, the structure, the wind field, etc. For the average Joe, the regular person who wants to look out the window and know what the weather is going to do, this is a very large storm system with impacts, and what it's called on a technical level really doesn't matter to most people, and what matters is what the effects will be. And for right now, the tropical storm conditions could be felt generally in this area, eastern Long Island, the islands off the Massachusetts coastline, Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket, and then of course the Cape itself. Elsewhere along the New Jersey coast, a little bit of rain trying to move in from the east. I'll show you that on a radar in just a moment. But by and large, this is not the event that it was looking like it could be a few days ago. There will certainly be brisk northeast winds, maybe going to tropical storm force again up in New England, but down across western Long Island, New Jersey through the Delmarva, just generally breezy conditions. And the biggest impact here is going to be the dangerous surf because of this large circulation continuing to push the water across the Atlantic, what we call a long fetch here, all of this churning up the water. Pretty dangerous surf conditions, so if you're going to head to the beach this Labor Day, please be very, very careful. Keep the children right close to the shore. Luckily, we don't have any huge breaking swells coming in. If this had been a major hurricane approaching the coast, it would send out enormous, 12-foot swells breaking on the beach perhaps. We are not seeing that, but nevertheless, rip currents a high threat all in this region along the coast. So just be mindful of that over the next few days, because this is going to be a slow mover still. Not forecast to reach back to hurricane intensity, fortunately. This is a look at the map here. It may come just a little bit more to the west, but really the wind field is going to be actually contracting, and overall this system will be totally losing its tropical characteristics, what little bit it might have, as it moves on out into the Atlantic here south and east of Nova Scotia by Friday. Hopefully that'll be the end of it. Looking at the radar, as I was talking about, the only rain right now is confined up here to New England, and that even down to southeast areas of New England, the islands there and the Cape. Maybe eastern Long Island will get in on that later today, and the rain shield is far enough off the New Jersey coast that I don't see any problems down there. If you want to head to the beach, to the Jersey shore, enjoy it. No problems except for the potentially dangerous surf conditions. We're coming up on high tide. Right now, around 11:40 a.m. Eastern Time is high tide, and I am recording this video about a half hour before that. So as the tide goes down, the conditions might become just a little bit better, but still be very careful. Meanwhile, in the eastern Pacific, Tropical Storm Newton formed yesterday, and it's well south of the Baja now, but heading in that direction, generally speaking, and the remnant moisture could make it up into the southwest United States, northwest New Mexico, and that could bring an increase of heavy rainfall, perhaps. You see on the satellite picture a lot of energy, deep convection here associated with the center of Newton. Again, landfall up here is a strong tropical storm, maybe a hurricane later tomorrow and tomorrow night, and then that remnant circulation moving up towards Arizona with a heavy rain threat here for parts of the desert southwest and northwest Mexico. It is the season for that kind of stuff, so got to start watching out. Some of these are going to start recurving back into Mexico, something we haven't seen much of thus far during the eastern Pacific hurricane season. The rest of the Atlantic Basin, Invest Area 92L, maybe when it gets over here in the Bay of Campeche it could develop. We'll have to see. Other tropical waves and large areas of energy out in the eastern Atlantic still remaining very dry and stable in the atmosphere out here. So really nothing developing over the next several days. I think we're going to have a little bit of a lull of any named storms once Hermine exits the scene here in the next day or so. and really by the end of the week, that'll be the end of that. And later in the month, though, I see signs that things could start to pick up again, which is fairly typical. We get these periods of activity, and then things might die down for a little bit. And if we get an MJO pulse, or Madden-Julian oscillation of enhanced upward motion, basically a period where the atmosphere is much more favorable overall, less wind shear, and it promotes sort of the building of thunderstorms in the tropics, what we call upward motion. If that comes to pass, it could be a pretty busy second half of September. For now, though, we'll keep watching Hermine and what's happening with Newton, and everything else is nice and quiet. Have a great rest of your Monday. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com and for Hurricane Pro and HD. I'll be back with another update for you tomorrow.